human rights. I've heard this argument a lot about people saying like this should be a human right, this should be a human right. Do you guys have like a limit? I want to take it in a certain direction, but what do you guys think the limit should be for human rights, I guess? Because there was a post that brought up what should be a human right but isn't.
Okay.
And there was a bunch of comments. I didn't know if you guys wanted to chime in first, or I read off some of these and we agree or disagree.
Do you want to go first?
Oh yeah, I'll go first. I think when it comes to human rights, I can't say there's a limit.
Okay.
And the only reason why I can't say there's a limit is because we still do not fully understand what it means to be a human.
Okay. Like,
So-
is your point we're constantly learning about ourselves still?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
it's just a part. I mean, that's a cycle of nature. We're going to continuously evolve. Things are going to change. We're going to adapt. We're going to desire different things, become different things, dream different things. So it's like it's really hard to say there's a limit when it comes to that. But I do think there are degrees.
I get
So I think there are rights that are detriment to the species as itself. I think they are detriment to our existence, but I also think there are rights that really, in my opinion, should be considered privileged. Because, well, I mean, kind of like we were just talking about with America previously. Go to another country where they don't look at your rights the same.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
You're very privileged to be considered that right exists here.
Should we also
Yeah, you
mention,
can
should this
go
be
out
a
there and hate on
worldwide
Donald Trump or hate on Joe Biden all day long, and you're not going to get murdered by the opposition party.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's very unlikely. Murder's still bad, and people still do bad things.
Sure.
But there are some countries where if you speak up against the political leadership, then you're jailed. You're killed.
Yeah, I was about to say, if not worse.
Just being able to speak up in opposition rather than just following blindly. That's a right that we have here that not everybody has.
Mm-hmm.
So let's differentiate, I think, is what I'm trying to say. What should be maybe a human right for the whole planet, maybe, you think? Not just America, because I think you guys just kind of nailed it. Like, we have stuff here we can do in America that a lot of other countries can't do. And, there's plenty of other countries that,
They have a lot of those
that-
same freedoms.
There's that, but is more or less strict compared to some places in America. So I can acknowledge that, too. Like, America isn't number one with, well, probably just about anything, now that I think about it. But...
So you're
Just,
thinking, what's one right you could say as a whole?
As a whole, like some kid in Australia that's nothing, or like Africa, China, like what's something that probably should be a human right for everyone,
The right to choice.
Okay, so
like pro-choice, right?
Mm-hmm.
so if you're
Okay.
Just the right to choice in general. Just the right to choose.
if you're under 18, if you're not legally an adult, you belong to your parents until they are willing to let you go.
Isn't that?
Yep.
isn't
And then
okay.
if they are willing to let you go and you are on your own from there and you support yourself, then from that point on, in my eyes, you are a free soul and you can do whatever you so choose, so long as it's not hurting or affecting other people in a negative way.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
So okay.
Well,
And also without trying to change everybody else to fit you.
Oh,
Let
Yeah,
me.
yeah, don't change it.
okay.
Without trying to change everybody else to fit you. Like here in this area. I grew up around here, very religious area. We got, 16 churches within 10 square miles. I'm not a religious person. I was treated a little poorly for not being openly religious and being openly not religious, and that's fine and dandy. And I mean, it's not fine that I was treated poorly because of that, but that people have the freedom to do whatever they want.
Mm-hmm.
I don't okay, fine, be an asshole. That just tells me more that I need to know about this area and you kind of people.
Absolutely.
If you want to be assholes based on that, then be assholes based on that. I'll find a place where I can belong. And this America is such a huge fucking country. There's anywhere. You can go anywhere here and there's some place where you can belong.
Absolutely.
If you're gay, San Francisco was the gay hotspot. All
Yeah.
growing up, that's all you ever heard about. Yeah, San Francisco full of gay people. So
Yeah.
if you're gay, if you're not accepted over here in the Midwest, Don't try to make them accept you because you don't accept their beliefs either. Move to San Francisco. Go where like-minded people are. Don't try to change this area.
Yeah.
Don't try to make everybody else fit your parameters of what is right and wrong. Go to where it's okay. And there are certain universal right and wrongs, and I'm big on that, and I will denounce them. But it's also not my response, or it's not my place to tell you how to live your life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just don't bring it around me, or don't bring it around my area, because my area doesn't accept that.
Yeah, I agree.
Take it elsewhere and do it there, but don't hurt or destroy people or kill people.
Yeah.
You know, like the universal right is the right to be yourself. And that being said, everybody else has the right to be themselves too. So if you are yourself and the people around you don't like it and they treat you badly because of it, it is not your responsibility to find a way to use higher powers to make them accept you for who you are when you have endless opportunity to go anywhere you want and be accepted for what you are. You want to do drugs? Go to Oregon. Oregon's basically decriminalized and legalized everything. Go to Canada. Canada's done the same thing. You can go to Canada and buy ecstasy online and have it mailed to your door.
Hot damn.
You can go to Canada and buy LSD online, have it mailed to your door. You can get anything you want wherever you want. Just go there. Stop trying to change everybody else in your area to fit what's in your mind, because you aren't willing to accept what they are.
I think the problem is you got to do something, where a lot of people, they kind of expect it handed it to them.
Exactly. They want somebody else to do it for them. They like I said, they want that higher power to step in. They want to make the federal government control, because the federal government controls all states. And we you know, I don't think, like, I'm not for abortion 100%, but it's your choice. You do with it whatever you want.
Yeah.
I really don't think people should. You do whatever you want. And if this state doesn't want to allow it, fine. Move to a different state.
Because there are that will allow it.
Exactly. You know, but don't go to the federal level and try to tell all 50 states in all our territories that, no, you can't do this, because that's not their job. Their job is to make sure that you have the right to life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. That's their job. Their job is not to govern every little thing. That's why our 50 states are like 50 different countries governed by one big body.
Yeah.
And that big body is overreaching because too many people are trying to use that as ammunition, as the cannon, to hit everybody else. How about you stop? Because there are places you can go. There are places you can go. Go.
Yeah.
Hey,
You
wait,
just got to do something. What were you going to say, bud?
What? First of all, what was the original question?
It was
Human rights.
Human rights, but what's the limit? I guess. What's the? Oh gosh.
Oh no, that was the first. It was the question. I think you asked. It was what right do you think, as a whole, everyone should have?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I was just trying to get there because I was gonna ask Dylan. So like after saying all that, like, it just as you would to clarify it, what right do you think everyone should have? Just a right.
Here's an example. Here's an example.
In a smaller term.
The first one. Okay. Someone said, education. Like, do you think everyone's entitled to making sure everyone has an education? That's an example someone said. Or like clean water and everyone deserves food.
Yeah, that's why I said choice, for instance, because I was like, I would say choice, and
okay,
without going like in super long detail, I would say, like, for instance, the reason why I would pick choice is because that is the
you can choose to get an education. You can choose to find better water. You can choose to, right?
Despite anything that the world presents to you from the moment of your birth, by the second you're able to get cognition, from when you're actually able to make a decision for yourself, you have begun your first, what I think is a necessary human right for all across the board. Because that is right there, from now on, despite them presenting you consequence or victory, you have an option of choice. And I'm not saying you have the option of not experiencing consequences from your choice, but you do have an option of choice.
I was gonna say, I ain't trying to get like philosophical or anything, but don't we already? You kind of make it sound.
Well, that's what I'm saying. When you asked which one I think everyone should have, as a whole, that would encompass everyone.
Oh, you're
that
saying
I think
like,
as humans, a right that we should have.
That
is our first one.
You're saying every government should get on board of, hey, everyone has their own choice. Is that?
No. I'm talking about humans.
Yes.
I'm not talking about societal scales. I'm not talking about like individual rights in different countries.
Yes.
I'm talking about if we're talking about across the board, a broad spectrum, like you said, a kid in Australia, a kid in Africa.
Yeah, just anywhere.
It's something that covers anyone.
Mm-hmm.
The right of choice.
So do we not already though?
We do have it, but I'm saying if you had to ask me what I think everyone should have, that's the one.
Oh no! I meant
that's the one innegotiably beyond any other. That is the most important one to have.
I think that's already a given.
Because that's your basic foundation of being alive,
human.
being a part of the human race.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so outside of that, because honestly, to me, it seems like that's kind of already like a given. Yep. What's something that that isn't already built into us, I guess? Something that we sort of don't have control over. Like we don't have control over. Like I said earlier, someone said like clean water. Do we deserve to have the right to have like every single person on the planet have clean water?
Okay, wait. So is your question about the right to have, or is your question, is it right or wrong?
No, okay, you're misinterpreting what he's saying here.
I'm definitely misinterpreting if he's
misinterpreting. I could be coming off wrong. Also, okay, I'm still trying to get it cleared up.
Okay, wait. Okay, so let's hit this right here. You said the right to clean water, the right to education, stuff like that. All right.
Do we deserve that? Or is that something that...
I'm just going to go back to Destin's thing here on the whole choice aspect.
Mm-hmm.
Back in school, you got kids that pay attention and that want to learn, and then you've got kids that don't pay attention and don't want to learn. Yes, they have the right to learn, but you've got kids disrupting other kids and making poor choices that then hinder other kids because they can't get the learning that they require.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So there is no standard human right. I don't believe that. You have to be a productive member of society. You don't just get handed things because that does nothing for anybody.
That's like the bear. Yeah.
You don't.
That's kind of where I stand. It's all like I don't think just because you're born you're entitled to anything.
Yeah. No.
That makes sense.
It's all about what you do and what you build. If you want to be, if you want clean water, and somebody has clean water, can I get some clean water? They will either tell you no or they will tell you yes. It is their choice to choose to be a empathetic, kind human and do it without anything in return, or they can say, I want you to haul 3 ricks of wood up to the house,
exchange,
and then I will give you enough water to keep you satisfied for the next few days.
Sure, okay.
And there are some people who are greedy, and there are some people who aren't. Don't barter with those who are greedy.
Yeah, and I guess so.
Are we on the same page then? Sort of.
What he said, I can definitely piece it together. Okay, so like basically that's where I was getting at.
Okay.
Any of those other rights beyond that right I mentioned,
okay,
are extensions of choice.
Oh yeah. Oh,
so
obviously.
And that's the thing.
Yeah.
So it's like any just saying what we should have a right across the board. That's ultimately, like he was saying, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. If all the options are there on the table, you still have a choice. What are you doing?
Do you guys think it's more of a privilege to have a right? Like how, what, Americans, we have, what'd you say, the 3, life, liberty,
and pursuit of happiness.
Okay, and that's like some of our rights, right?
Yeah, those are in the Constitution.
Okay, so, but not everyone else has it. So would you consider that more of a privilege?
I think...
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that's kind of what I was saying earlier, where I think there are some rights that are privileged because our founding fathers fought for those rights. They fought to give those rights to us. And unfortunately, or maybe it's wrong for me to say, I don't know how they feel about it.
Sure.
But people in other countries didn't. They adopted their own rights.
Yeah.
Some similar.
Yeah.
Some very similar.
They chose to accept the societal standards that are theirs. And that's their right to do that. I think I think the one violation of a human right, and this goes beyond children.
Okay.
Like we're gonna say once you become old enough to be able to, well, once you become mentally aware enough to be able to kind of support yourself to a certain degree and not necessarily rely on others. After that point, if you are like chained to a basement and you have literally no way to escape, I think that would be a violation of a human right.
Okay.
Right there, I think that right there, when your choice is taken away to the highest degree,
Oh,
to where
okay.
you are physically in, like, being locked in a dungeon. That, I would say, violates a human right to a certain degree, because you should have the freedom of choice. Now, that doesn't negate crime. That doesn't
Sure,
negate.
yeah.
Now, when you take away somebody else's choice, like, let's say you go SA a woman, and you don't give her you force her into that scenario, you have violated her rights. So therefore, your rights, you've given up your rights. So then society is allowed to punish you from then on.
Yeah, right.
So then we can take away your right to choice, and we do, but for how long? That's why we send them to prison or jail.
Sure.
But the consequence of actions is no longer there. You do something bad and you go sit in jail for 30 days and then you get out.
Yeah, right.
And nothing. Chain gangs. Let's get these people building infrastructure. They
Absolutely.
want to go
Benefit.
They want to go mess up society, then they can fix society.
Yeah, that'd be good. Okay, here, let's go through and I want to see if you guys agree with some of these. So one of them was complete digital privacy should be one choice.
Yeah.
Are you out on that?
There's an issue with that because so the government gets to now have complete digital privacy now too, right?
I don't know. Does that count? Would that count then?
There's people in the government.
But hold on, don't we make the rules for the government? And then the government they regulate it, right?
No, we elect them in to make the rules for us.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And we usually elect them based on their promise of
Exactly.
making those rules
So it'd
happen.
be ours, right? Like if
Yep.
the majority is all
But it's ours, but that doesn't mean just because they're the government, they don't have our rights too.
Digital privacy for what? Like that's
just to apply as a person, I'm assuming.
okay, but
I assume.
Okay, but right there, I'm just gonna go to like the computers and internet and stuff. Okay, so like, what is it that you want to keep so private?
Yeah.
Because don't get me wrong, we all look up stuff that we don't want other people to see that we look up,
Okay.
right? But if you're looking up something so heinous that you feel like if anybody ever saw it, it would ruin you as an individual within society, chances are,
You're probably better.
I don't
off
know
with
if
it.
you probably shouldn't be looking that up. You don't
Yeah.
need digital privacy at that point.
Well, there's
And
there's probably
why,
a reason.
And that's
that
why
you
I
feel that
mentioned the
way.
government.
Yeah.
I mentioned the government because I was like, okay, just assuming this guy doesn't have anything to hide.
Okay.
So you're going to give the people that have control over our life complete and absolute privacy now. Like now, if we need to find out if they did something wrong to us, we can't find out now.
See, that's a good point. Well, hold on. Does this also come into them being? Well, they won't know what we're looking at, right?
It would be infringing on their rights if we were to ask.
Wait, we were to ask what they were doing?
Well, I mean, if they
Or
had,
vice
if they had
versa.
the right to complete digital privacy,
And somebody, let's say somebody were to hack in their systems and find out, then that would be a full violation. They
Yeah.
would be criminally.
yeah,
the
you would have
hacker would.
violated their human right.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
you do have digital privacy to a certain degree.
Yeah.
There really is, honestly. Like back in high school when I was fucking ratting people and I was getting control of their systems and spying on them and stuff. That was felony. That's felony level. Like if I had been, if
You want
somebody
to cut
had-
this out?
no, it's fine.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure it's statute limit. It doesn't matter. I'll own up to it. I'll take my time.
Okay.
I'm an accountable person, so I'll do my time for that. I didn't do anything bad. I was just curious because I had the ability to do it, so I did it.
Yeah.
And that's felony level. I could have been charged with a felony for that because it was invasion of privacy. I had bank account information. I had phone information. I had so much stuff on quite a few people. And that's a felony level. It's still wrong. It's still wrong to do. You do have digital privacy. And if I was to have stolen or leaked information of these people and stuff, I could be charged for that.
Yeah.
So it's not that you don't have digital privacy, but your digital privacy is in your hands because you can't control what I'm going to do to you.
Sure, yeah. I think that's something we'd have to look into when we get farther along because we're getting to the point in it's more futuristic. Everyone's online. It's going to be a presence when we're always online. So I think we got to worry about. I think that might be something we come
Asking
to
for
in the
complete
future.
digital privacy is like going out in a public park and then taking your clothes off and then being mad because somebody looked at you. You
Oh, that's a
can't
good point,
expect
the
privacy
public.
in a public domain.
Oh,
And the
yeah.
internet is a public domain. It is connected. We are all
That's
connected.
a good point. Yeah. Okay.
It's
All right.
hard. It's hard to have a right that is based around protection and security. So like most of our rights already, they're an underlying guideline that is protective, but doesn't necessarily force an activity. Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so for instance, if they were to come up with a right, like you have the right to wear a mask after COVID-19 or whatever, you know, they do that, or let's say they were to do that, right?
Yeah.
Now there's this guy
Thank you.
in the middle of a bank trying to get money masked, and they ask him, can you remove your mask? Is that infringing on his right? He has a right to wear a mask.
Well, it would be, because if you make it a right?
Yeah, but see,
right,
but you see how like that would change an entire dynamic and understanding as to how we have things under control now.
Mm-hmm.
We
Yeah.
do that because we need to identify you.
Yeah.
We need to be able to make sure we know who you are. These cameras need to be able to see you, so on and so forth,
Kinda
right?
tilt the mic a little
Oh
bit.
yeah, you know, so on and so forth. You know, so it kind of just gets to that point where you have to. You can't make your rights so specific in that regard, because there's always a loophole.
Oh yeah.
That's
absolutely.
the biggest thing with rights. There's always a loophole with rights. So it's never straightforward 100% this is good. There's going to be a loophole that can be taken advantage of.
Yes.
So the more specific the right, the more extreme the loopholes. And that's the big problem right there. So like when you ask for these particular rights, when these people want these particular rights, they don't consider the loopholes that come with that. For instance, the right for transgender women to go into a man's bathroom, or vice versa.
Yeah.
They don't understand the loophole that comes with that, where someone, well, now I can just say I'm this, and then I can do whatever I want.
Yeah.
So it's like the more specific the right gets, the more loopholes are able to be
Yeah.
accessed. And it's like the reason why our basic human rights, I would say, are so broad in general is because it's kind of hard to get a loophole around something that kind of covers a wide area. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. How about this? What do you guys think about a quick, painless death? Someone said that should be a human right. A quick, painless death.
Nope.
Yeah. No. That's.
You guys are against that?
Well,
It's all individualistic, case by case basis. I think if
So then, it shouldn't be a right, because if there's gonna be extremes or for sure.
okay. So if
Anything that has to be took case by case.
you tie
anyways.
somebody up in your basement and you tortured them for 3 weeks, and then kill them, and then they find the body, and you are 100%. You recorded it, and they've got 100% hands down. This is you that did it.
Yeah.
Why do you deserve a quick, painless death when you didn't give them a quick, painless death?
Yeah, that's a good
That's
point,
not
yeah.
fair that you took that right away from them, and then you get to just die quick and easy. No, fuck that.
Yeah, I
I'm gonna
agree.
tie
I
you up,
agree.
and I want to torture you 10 times worse than you tortured that poor soul.
Right.
Yeah, I agree. 100%. Yeah, that's
Alright.
not how you do it.
How about healthcare, mental, emotional, and physical? You have the right to that.
Ooh. Okay.
Here's what I
With
get
this, I think I'm gonna have to go back to my original thing, and that is you have the right to choose to get that, but you don't have a right to that.
Okay, so no.
And I understand why that has to be a thing, because all of that doesn't come out of thin air.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, someone made a comment on one of these. I hope I can find it. It was all like, these rights that everyone keeps asking for, you realize someone has to do something about it. Anything. So, like, let's say the healthcare thing, that means someone is it fair to force someone to become a doctor? Would that violate a right? So,
Well, it's not that
Yeah,
you have
yeah.
to force somebody to be a doctor. It's is it worth it being a doctor?
Well, that's the thing. Like here, let's say at the very beginning of history, right? I know this is kind of extreme, obviously. There's only 10 people in your tribe, 10 people in the whole world. It's all like, hey, we all agree healthcare should be a human right. So we have to force one of us to be a doctor because we're all agreeing that it needs to be human right. Would you infringe on that one person's right you all voted on?
Well, no.
You wouldn't? If he's all like, I don't want to be a doctor, but you're probably the most qualified.
So somebody would want to be a doctor, and if they don't, then nobody gets a doctor. That's just you. Then you have to learn how to be your own doctor.
Yeah.
Like
Like
but
I
then
said,
you violate the human right of we deserve healthcare.
Okay, no, you deserve healthcare, sure, but who's going to provide that healthcare?
Exactly, that was the point of the commenter. It was all like, yeah, you could want all these rights, but you Also,
Okay. This is where because when they're saying human rights, they're wanting society to pay for it.
Yes,
and
exactly.
then that's where taxes come into stuff.
Yeah.
That's what they want. They want free handouts from society.
Oh, here it is. Unpopular opinion. Something cannot be your right if someone else has to provide it for you. That was the point.
Yeah, 100%.
So that's what I was kind of trying to loop around to.
Yeah,
okay.
You don't have a right to be owed by the world.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what I was saying. Like, I don't think when we're born we should be entitled to anything.
Yeah.
Well, that's part of being a productive member of society and like getting with the program.
Well, there's that.
You go get a job. What do you get with your job? There's almost no
want.
jobs that don't have healthcare. And you can opt in or you can opt out of it. If you opt in, you're going to have to pay for it. And when you pay for it, what you're doing is it's insurance. So you're basically paying for the eventuality that you do have something go wrong with you.
Yeah.
And the best part about it not being a right is that it doesn't muddy the water when it comes to that. So we all, at least in our society, we have come to a common agreement that we deserve it, but we haven't had to make it a right.
Okay,
we have an understanding. Some people pursue a way to find money. They found that as a way to earn money, and then we have found a way to dispense our money to attain the thing we wanted.
Right.
Go to an emergency room. Go sign into an emergency room. No insurance. Do it. They will never turn you down.
Yeah, they can't. Yeah.
They can't.
Yeah.
They cannot turn you down if it's life or death.
Yeah.
They will fix you. Now it's going to cost you later.
Oh yeah.
But that's just the cost of having something going wrong and you not thinking about that beforehand and getting like insurance and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because you do have the right to life. That's one of your first one. That's your big one. You still have a right to life.
So if you go to a hospital, it's not that you don't have.
Oh, doesn't that get
It's not that you don't have access to healthcare. It doesn't matter if you have $600,000 in medical debt. If you go into an emergency room, they will not refuse you. Unless it's like, oh, I've got a pimple right here that I don't want to pop. Will you pop it? They'll refuse it because that's not life or death.
Yeah.
But if it's your life on the line, they will do bare minimum to get you back up.
Or even still, like if it's like a decent emergency, it ain't just life or death. Like I've never been turned down, ever. I mean, and there's plenty of times I never had insurance. Now, I didn't enjoy those bills, but like, I can't. There wasn't one time I could ever think of I've went and I've been turned down ever.
Well, exactly. I mean, and like I said, like basically, let's say in an emergency situation like that, you're about to die.
Okay.
But so are 700,000 people around you, and they're all in that nursing room, and it's full. They can't get you in. Do you have a right to sacrifice someone else for yourself?
I mean, I'm sure. Hold on.
Okay, well, hey,
that's a good point.
Okay,
yeah.
But my counter
Because
would
then
be
your
like,
right is
what
gonna
if you
start
talk to
infringing.
someone?
Your
and you're
right
all
is
like,
going to
wait
infringe
a
their
second.
right.
Go ahead.
So we have right now when people are talking about the right to healthcare, mental health, and all that stuff.
Sure, yeah.
That's not anything that's life threatening.
Yeah.
And okay, you could argue, oh, I'm suicidal. Oh, that's life threatening. You haven't done it, so you aren't.
Yeah.
You think about it, guess what? Everybody else does too. You aren't the only person in history to have ever thought about killing yourself.
Sure. Yeah.
This is not a problem that is common. That is so rare. It's only you that experiences it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, none of that is truly life-threatening. Like appendicitis. If I was to go in and have appendicitis, that is life-threatening because as soon as that appendix ruptures, you're dead.
Mm-hmm.
Game over. So that's a life-threatening thing, and that's something you will not be turned away down. You have universal health care when it comes to life-threatening.
Oh, yeah.
But what people want with universal health care is they want to go, oh, my child coughed, let's take him to the hospital. And then it turns out it's literally just a normal thing that everybody deals with all the time ever. It's a fucking cough.
Yeah, it's
Get the fuck
a
over
minor
it.
cold or something.
Yeah, it's something so simple and stupid that it was a waste of resources to go, and who has to pay for that? Everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's part of the issue I see there is that these people want universal health care, but they don't want it for things that are they want it for the little mundane things like, oh, I want my Adderall.
Yep.
You know, oh, I want my pain pills.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but I don't want to have to pay for that. I want somebody else to have to pay for that. And no.
That's the whole like we
have
expect it handed to us compared to
exactly.
You know,
Once
the
again,
right of choice in
anything
doing it
that's
ourselves.
life-threatening, they will find a way.
Yeah,
They will do their
absolutely.
best. You know, just short of like taking something from somebody else.
Yeah. Oh, well, I didn't want to bring it up, but not to sidetrack. Is life really on the human rights thing?
Yeah.
The right
What?
to life and liberty and freedom from slavery and torture.
Is this strictly for the U.S. or is this for
this
around
is
the
the
world?
United Nations. This is
Oh,
the UN.
oh, okay.
So,
So
human
wouldn't
rights
that-
include the right to life and liberty, freedom from slavery and torture, freedom of opinion and expression, the right to work and education, and many more.
Okay, so that's our human rights, right?
Nope.
Okay, so
Some of them.
yeah. Okay, just so United Nations, this would be, I'm assuming, the majority of the world, right?
Okay, our United Nations are pretty much all the world leaders.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so the right to life, wouldn't that kind of like put a chip in the abortion thing? Because that is life, though, right? Technically.
Yeah, but this
That's
once
where
again,
that's the loophole.
That's
this
why
is one of your loophole things, and this is where it gets a little interesting because what if the mother has a chance of dying while giving birth?
I think that's completely
Does her
different.
right to life outweigh the child's, or does the child outweigh
I
hers?
think that's completely different. And most of the time when it comes to that,
It's
what they
wait,
say
wait,
is
it's
hold
not
on.
different,
Hold on. With most of the time when it comes to that, they say we will try to save the baby, but if we can't, we can't. And almost every time I've heard of a scenario like that and someone says, well, I could die over this baby, it's like, hold on. They try to save the baby, but most of the time they usually try to,
Okay,
But
someone
see,
usually
the
finds a
argument,
plea.
usually made, the rationale there
Mhm.
that they're going on, is
I mean, I know why they do
this
that.
woman,
You can always make more
this
babies.
woman that's giving birth is a person,
yes.
is a full-on person, life, memories, job, passions, pursuits, contributions,
Mm-hmm.
debts. That's a person.
Yes.
They could kill this person
Mm-hmm.
for what could become hopefully something of the same,
Or a crackhead on
they
the street.
could let this go, knowing that this person may still have a chance to have a child again.
Well, that was my point right there. That's the reason they try to save the mom. That mom could go on to have 10 babies,
Mm-hmm.
10 more babies, or, you could lose both of them.
Yep.
So that's why they literally say
But someone's
we
right
will
can't
try to
trump
save-
another person's right.
See,
That's the
yeah.
problem.
See, I'm going to go back to what I said earlier about until you are old enough to be able to mostly support yourself
Mhm.
and make decisions,
Yeah.
you are owned by your parents.
Yeah.
Like your parents, they make decisions for you. They choose, they decide.
Yeah.
So you are nothing more than a parasite to them by definition.
Yeah.
And now I'm not saying like kids are parasites,
I know what
you
you
know,
mean.
but
No, you're
by
good.
definition,
Mhm.
that is a parasite.
Yeah.
So while it's in the womb, or whatever, or like once they realize that you're pregnant or something, I once again, I'm not against abortions, but I'm not really for them either. I think they're okay in certain situations. Like if you realize that you're not going to be able to bring this child up in a good, meaningful way, then okay, abortion. But don't go out not on birth control, spread your legs for everything that walks, and then decide, oh well, if I get pregnant, I'll just get an abortion.
Oh, no,
because
you're
to me,
good.
that's wrong.
Yeah, no, I
Okay.
agree. I was just gonna say, so we didn't get stuck on this forever, because abortion can be a pretty hot topic. You brought up an extreme with the abortion.
And I was actually going to go back to that.
I was gonna say, like, with the right to life,
Which I...
it seems like it's kind of a contradictory to the abortion thing.
Then every time
You
you,
know what I
jerk
mean?
it,
That's a good point.
you're a bad person because those are millions of potential lives. And
Yeah.
every time you deposit it, you're killing everything but one.
Every time
Or
a
two.
woman,
Yeah, I
every time a
agree.
woman has her period and
Well,
she flushes out
technically-
an egg, she's killed another right to life.
Here we're killing more than we're making, right? So shouldn't all men be jailed?
Yes.
Yeah, all men and women, like I said.
No.
They have
no,
menstrual cycles. They
When-
kill eggs.
Huh?
They kill eggs.
Well,
Takes both
hold
of
on.
us,
I think
remember.
it breaks down the egg. I don't know, because you only have a set of eggs.
Yeah, you only have so many apparently.
No, you only have like a set of, because V had hers took out. She
Yeah.
has the same egg. She had
Are you talking about
she had the
ovaries?
same
Are you
eggs.
talking about ovaries?
Yes.
Or, okay.
Okay.
Okay,
Oh,
but I'm
is
not
that
talking
what
about
you're
ovaries. I'm
talking
about the eggs.
Okay,
Yeah,
hold on,
it's a
you-
little different.
Okay. Oh,
Because your
that's why
sperm
I'm
makes
puzzled, my
contact with
bad.
the eggs and the ovaries. and
Yes.
yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay. I'm caught up now. My
Mhm.
bad. Sorry, I need to get educated.
No, you're good. Yeah,
I'm pretty
okay.
sure you're a little wrong there. I could be wrong too. I don't know, but I'm gonna speak off the
Look
dome.
it up real quick. It's just anatomy.
I kind
Yeah.
of want to speak off the dome real quick and see if I know.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No,
Okay.
100%.
So if I'm not mistaken, the eggs are in the ovaries, and then they switch over to the uterus during ovulation, because every time you go through a period, you're shedding out an egg and your uterine lining and stuff.
That's what he said, though, right?
You know, he said it was in the ovaries, and I'm pretty sure it all takes place in the uterus.
Oh, you're just saying the
okay. So
placement.
the placement I might have wrong, but the function I have right.
Yes. Okay.
Okay. So thank you though.
Now I could be wrong. I don't know if I'm right.
I don't know 100% either.
Nonetheless,
it sounds accurate.
We'll fact check it later.
Okay.
But either way, yeah. So going back to my extreme, which I really don't think it was an extreme because it's there's always a chance that someone's going to have something go wrong in any kind of sort of operation.
Yeah, I was just gonna say with the whole like, I have to have this abortion because I'm gonna die. That's an extreme. You know what I mean? That's what I meant. Were you correct?
Okay. But see, I also.
No? Oh, here, go here. We'll do a.
Oh, okay.
All right, one little excerpt. Fact check.
Yeah, fact check.
Fertilization usually takes place in a fallopian tube that links an ovary to the uterus. So we were both on the opposite sides, and we should have been in the middle.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
In a fallopian tube.
Well, I was in the middle of you two, so I must have been right.
Makes
All right,
sense.
You are fallopian tube.
But either way, like I said, so. And this is kind of weird because this is kind of coming close to that pro-choice thing.
Okay. All right.
I do think if a mother was going to die on childbirth, if the child was going to be born, she should have the right to sacrifice herself for her child. I think
they have. You have the choice.
Exactly. So I do think that's okay in that aspect. I think you should have that option. If you want your legacy to continue on without you, that should be your choice.
Okay.
I also think assisted suicide should be a choice, or like you should be able to like go to the doctor and be all like, "Look, I'm done."
Are you saying that should too as well?
Yes, yeah.
Oh,
that should too as
Oh,
well.
see,
because
like
if you
euthanasia, right?
because that would basically be suicide, giving birth and knowing you're gonna die.
Yeah. What
you're
do you want to
choosing
wait until you die a horrible, painful way, or what if you know you're reaching your time? You're like, you know what, I kind of want to go out like a nice.
Well, okay, no. They do that. They do
chimes
that.
into the quick, painless death thing.
They have death
That's
without
part of-
dignity.
Okay, but see,
or death with dignity. They have death with dignity. If you're terminally ill, then you can opt to be.
Wait a minute.
Oh, well, no,
but
wait a
Canada's
minute.
not terminally ill.
Hold on.
Canada's like that.
Hold on here. Actually, this is where things get interesting.
This got really intense.
And I understand why I think we have a lot of crossing paths here with our understandings on these rights. I don't think prisoners should have the right to any of these rights. I don't think what society has deemed as bad should. Okay, so the reason why is because, like what he was saying earlier about the right to a quick and painless death, he was talking about a guy who tortured a guy and everything. Okay, that would be a criminal. He doesn't have the right to anything.
Yeah, that's what he was saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you
I do agree with
forfeit
that.
your rights,
However, if you're not a criminal, you should have the right to a quick and painless
remember,
death.
we're just speaking of like
if you're
people
not a
who
criminal,
do
if
have
you
rights.
haven't deprived someone else of that, you should have the right of that.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So moving forward, let's just speak of people who do that haven't
But that's not a human
forfeited their rights.
I see what you're saying.
Mm-hmm. But see, I can't say that's a human right.
What? Quick and painless death?
Yeah. See, that's the problem. You can't make that a human right if you're going to exile a part of the human race.
Well, no, you can forfeit
Prisoners.
your own. You can, exactly.
Yeah, but they forfeit theirs when they commit the crimes.
But
see, I think
that's the problem. You can't forfeit a
those
human right. A human right is a human right.
Oh,
That's
I see
why
what
we
you're talking
can't. That's
about.
why, for instance, we have prisons because we put criminals in there because not everyone is given a death sentence.
Oh, they still have rights in prison.
They have a right to life, though. So
Like
we have to feed them. We have to shelter them.
Exactly.
And everything.
We can't torture them, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay,
so
here,
that's
let's.
the problem.
Are we okay with moving on to the next one?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Housing. Do you have a right to housing when you're born?
Oh, no, 100%. Well, okay, that comes to a dependency on what you're like talking about there.
Okay. It just said
okay, so
are you willing to be a
You have a
productive
right
member
to
of
inherit.
society, or are you willing to be a productive member to society, or do you just want free housing?
Mm-hmm.
Like if you want if
I
you're
was
willing
saying-
to go get a job.
Mm-hmm.
And we see this all the time. We see income-based housing
Mm-hmm.
all the time. I know a guy right now. I know two people who are in income-based housing.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them is lying so that they can get cheaper housing. And they do. They pay less than $200 a month in rent
Whew.
for a
Holy
3-bedroom
moly.
apartment that's nicer than my fucking house. I pay $1,500 a month in my mortgage, and that's not income based.
Holy
You know,
moly.
that's I know another person who doesn't want to go get a real job and would rather do freelance stuff, but is in an income-based housing and can do that because he is also paying less than $200 a month in rent.
So you're against.
So, like, see, we had these programs in place, and it doesn't seem to make people want to be better, or do better for the world around them. It just seems like that's a place for people who have no ambition left to go and get an easy way out.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And
Yeah.
yes, okay, sure, I could go apply for income-based housing, but right now I actually make pretty good money, so I would have to pay a pretty hefty penny. But because I went and made good choices in my life and did good things, I must pay more for it.
Yeah, it kind of sucks.
And see, because in a lot of income-based housing is a lot of people that you see that struggle and stuff, they do that mostly by choice.
Yeah.
There are very few people
But
I've
they put
seen that
themselves in
struggle.
that situation.
Exactly. There are very few people I've seen that struggle that haven't been put in a situation by choice.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
It's usually, so why do they get the cheaper out when somebody who makes all the right decisions has to end up paying way more in the end?
Oh,
It
absolutely.
just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And it doesn't make them want to be better either, because they're like, oh well, as long as
I'm good here.
as long as I make under this threshold, the state will take taxes from all their paychecks and give me $300 a month in food stamps, and then I can have this income-based housing where I pay next to nothing, so I can work for 3 days a month and then pay for all this and then just sit around and play video games.
They're
all
in a
the
soft spot. They ain't got to move or
yeah,
they ain't
it just doesn't feel
challenged.
fair in the
Yeah.
world that, like, yes, you have the right to housing, but if you're going to have cheap housing like that, then there should definitely be, like, food stamps. I think if you get food stamps, every time your food stamps are reloaded, you go piss in a cup and somebody watches that stream of urine leave your body.
I see that.
Now, if you don't really need help, then you won't do that. But if you truly need help, then you will do that. But if your pride is
Yep.
way more than making sure that you're fed, then you don't need it.
Yep. No, that's fair.
What do you got?
Well, I'm like I said, I'm right there with him. Like, there's a lot of reasons, like he said, that I don't want people that have it or whatever for just any ridiculous reason. But there are reasons where I understand it, because, like, for instance, you said from when you're born, I do believe you should be able to inherit houses. I mean, I think your family should be able to pass that down to your, regardless of your age. I mean, I think even if you were just born tomorrow and your dad left in his will that you get his house, that is your house, regardless, infant or not. That is your house.
I'm not in on that one because it's like people that used to own any part of land. Let's take the Native Americans here. Do they have the right to be all like, we were here first, y'all need to leave, get back?
That's conquering in history, and we've moved past that for the most part.
Yeah, what you're getting
Now-
at is civil rights.
Okay, no,
That's
no,
a
no.
whole other thing.
Well, okay, so let's say they started building houses here. The first people there. Some natives did it. But now... Okay, so are you saying the way you can give up your house is if you move to a different house?
What?
Because you said whatever house your parents own is automatically yours. But it's like, what if you can't afford all the stuff that they were paying? Do you still deserve to have that house?
Okay, but no, hear me out. Did their parents own that house? Or were they paying on that house?
Yes, but my point is like,
If they're paying on that house, then no, you don't have the right to it.
No, it's the bank's
They
house.
can't.
Well, I was
They can't
gonna
will it
say
to you anyways.
utilities and all. Like, you can't afford this house.
Yeah, but I mean,
Then you sell
you
it.
can't afford the utilities. You can afford the house because you own the house. Utilities are separate.
Okay, alright. I see what you're talking about. Okay, so if it... Alright, so if it's your parents' house, it's completely paid off, everything.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, I was thinking of something a little bit different. Like, you're entitled to that house because
Like
your
that is
family
that
owned
is
it
your
at one
property by right.
point. Okay,
That is
alright,
yours
that makes
to
sense.
own. That is yours to do with and decide what happens to.
Next one.
Alright, bodily autonomy. If a
What?
chick wants a tit job, does she deserve to have that?
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that's a human right more than that. That falls under the choice category.
Yeah,
like
that's
if
still,
if you want to go let somebody cut open your skin,
Mm-hmm.
if it's your choice to let them do that.
Yeah. Should
Not-
it be free?
No, hell no.
No. Because I believe in the right to capitalism too, and you got to make money.
Well,
Should abortions be free?
No. Why should anything? Nothing should be free necessarily.
Well,
you should have to pay your part.
Well, hold on. Isn't the point of the human rights? Isn't that the rights that are kind of like automatically given and they're free automatically?
Well,
right?
because they don't cost anything. It doesn't cost anything for you to. Okay, so let's go back to the affordable housing thing.
Okay.
If you are broke, like let's say you just work at a fast food place and you can't afford one of those apartments over there, but you can afford an affordable housing apartment.
Yeah.
At least you're doing your part, and
Yeah.
you are still paying for the housing, and
Yeah.
somebody is willing to let you rent for cheaper.
Yeah.
That's somebody who's willing to do that for you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So on and so forth.
So you're saying, okay, so no,
It's not free.
no to a bottom. Yeah, it can't be free, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Bodily anything. Like
Yeah.
if you want to go get some surgery
Well,
that isn't
not if
death.
it costs somebody else, because that apartment that you're getting into, did you build it?
Yeah, exactly. That's another.
Was
good
it your
point,
money
too.
that went into that? But go in the woods then. Go in the woods and build
Get
a
a
shelter.
tent.
The
Yeah.
most
Get a tent,
important rights that we have that are essential to life are free.
Yeah.
Any right to be asked for after that is trying to make something else free.
Yeah. Just trying.
And
Yeah.
that's
The
where
handouts.
the
Like
issue
we keep
is.
looking
Yeah,
back to.
everybody wants handouts. Everybody wants to be rich. Nobody wants to work for it.
All right, so I will conclude with this. This was the comment that I think I agreed with at least mostly. What I was saying, like we're kind of not really entitled to anything. Honestly, it's not an accurate question. No one really seems to understand what rights actually are anymore. Rights aren't something that can be given. That's not how it works. Rights are something we all have automatically, and when something becomes a right in a society, that simply means your government or society is promising not to take that right that you already have away from you. Things like free speech, freedom of religion, etc. are rights because absent any government, you would already have those. Clean water, healthcare, free education, none of these things can be rights. They would all be benefits or privileges given to you by someone, usually in this instant a government, in exchange for taxes. They're awesome things that people should have, but they aren't rights. The question really should be either, what societal services should humans have that we don't yet, or what rights have been taken away from us that we should have back? And that's the two questions. I kind of liked it.
Yeah,
I thought
that was
kinda
the best. That was
Yeah.
a really good
I
comment.
thought that was very good.